Yesterday, in the middle of all this courtroom battle and stuff, Prince Harry took time off to go to Lviv in Ukraine and the Superhumans Center, a rehabilitation clinic for those physically and emotionally shattered by Russia's brutal invasion and ongoing war. The visit, discreet in nature but deeply symbolic in gesture, reminds the world of Harry's long-standing commitment to wounded veterans and perhaps too to the power of principled visibility. The Duke of Sussex has, of course, made headlines recently, not for this surprise trip, but for his concurrent legal battle in London, and his appeal is an attempt to reinstate the level of security once granted to him as a working royal. And his lawyer argued in court that his life is at stake. Yes, rather than retreating into safe obscurity, Harry flew to a city frequently targeted by Russian missiles. Let's recall that Harry is not just a royal but a veteran, 10 years in the British Army, 2 tours in Afghanistan, the founder of the Invictus Games. His credibility in these spaces is not inherited, it has been earned. And in Lviv, Harry met with soldiers and civilians who have suffered amputations, trauma, and the invisible wounds of war. He was joined by veterans from the Invictus Games Foundation, some of whom had undergone similar journeys of pain and recovery, and together they toured operating theatres, prosthetics labs, counselling rooms. He met medical staff and Ukraine's Minister of Veterans Affairs, Natalia Kalmykova. And the Superhumans Center is no ordinary clinic. It stands on the grounds of the Lipa Veterans Hospital and treats more than 3,000 people a year. It offers prosthetics, reconstructive surgery, psychological support, and crucially, all at no cost. It's a sanctuary in a war zone. What's telling is that Harry didn't just pose for photographs. He watched live surgery. He spoke with the injured and their families. He listened. And this symbolism of his visit cannot be overstated. It occurred the day after his court appearance, a stark juxtaposition between two battles, one personal, the other political and moral, and it was also pointedly not coordinated with Buckingham Palace, underscoring his status as an independent actor, yet still unmistakably royal and regal beyond the reach of the British media. The British royal family has been vocal in its support for Ukraine. King Charles welcomed President Zelensky to Sandringham. The Duchess of Edinburgh was the first royal to visit Ukraine this year. She visited Kyiv. Prince William met refugees in Estonia, but Harry uniquely went to the front lines of rehabilitation, to the theatre of aftermath, where the costs of war are reconstructed limb by limb. Ukraine has competed in the Invictus Games since 2017, and at the most recent Games in Vancouver, its presence was especially poignant. Harry's visit affirms not only solidarity but strategic continuity. This isn't a celebrity stunt, it's an extension of his work. And Rob Owen, chief executive of the Invictus Games Foundation, noted that the Superhumans visit highlights the foundation's broader commitment to recovery and rehabilitation, even in the most challenging environments. This is diplomacy, not of words but of wounds. It's leadership via empathy. And you wonder why Prince Harry is important. This is why Prince Harry is important. And this is why Prince Harry commands respect, and this is why the treatment of Prince Harry by the British media, by the British Home Office, is so distressingly inappropriate. Prince Harry should be supported, praised, and aided, lauded. Prince Harry is one of the best things of the royal family. He is royal. There's nothing we can do to change that. And to play around with his status, simply to pander to the grosser elements of GB News, is abhorrent. There is naturally an unavoidable global undertone to what he does in Lviv. The visit occurred shortly after President Zelensky's tense Oval Office meeting with Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, and amid doubts cast by American leaders about ongoing support, Harry's presence sends a quieter counter-message. Some Western allies still show up. Indeed, the timing suggests Harry's visit was meant, at least in part, to offset the increasingly transactional rhetoric coming from Washington. The Sussexes had previously condemned Putin's war as a breach of international and humanitarian law. This was a chance to embody that stance in practical, real presence. So what's next? For Harry, a court ruling after Easter for Ukraine, an ongoing battle for survival. But this visit, as both sides of the Christian Church, the East and the West, prepare for the same date of Easter this year. Modest, meaningful, resolutely personal, this visit reminds us that solidarity, it doesn't need to wear a crown or carry a gun. Sometimes it kneels beside a soldier in a wheelchair. It looks at him in the eyes and it says, "You are not forgotten." In a fractured world, the Duke of Sussex has chosen his battlefield, not one of politics or palace protocol, but one of dignity, visibility, and human connection. I cannot admire Prince Harry enough, and I do.